One plant becomes two, two become four. In 30 days, a handful becomes a ton. This is not science fiction. This is mathematics. And this plant is growing right now in ponds across the world. 45% protein. Eggs are 12. Beef is 26. Chicken is 31. This plant has more protein than anything in your refrigerator. 1 square meter. 30 days. Enough protein to sustain a human being. There is a plant that doubles every 48 hours. By day 30, a handful becomes a ton. The archive opens in the Mekong Delta, 3,000 years ago. In shallow waters, where fish swam beneath rice stalks, a green film covered the surface. The farmers called it biotam. They did not call it pond scum. They called it protein. Welcome to the Green Archive. The scientific name is Lemna. The common name is duckweed. 10 times more efficient than soybean, 20 times more than corn. And almost no one in the Western world has ever heard of it. Today, we trace 3,000 years of forgotten knowledge. We follow the science that validated it, and we expose the economics that buried it. By the end, you will know exactly how to grow your own. Picture Vietnam, 500 years before Columbus. The Mekong Delta stretches across the landscape. In every rice paddy, a green film covers the water surface. This is not contamination. This is engineering. The farmers understood something we have forgotten. Water is real estate. While the rice grows above, the duckweed grows on the surface. Below, fish swim through the roots. Ducks wade between the stalks. The duckweed feeds the fish. The fish feed the ducks. The duck waste feeds the duckweed. The farmer harvests all four. Zero inputs, complete cycles, systems that sustain themselves for 30 generations. This was not primitive farming. This was protein engineering. In Thailand, the same systems flourished. In Myanmar, in Laos, across Southeast Asia, wherever water met sunlight, duckweed fed families. The knowledge passed from grandmother to granddaughter. The techniques refined over centuries. There were no patents, no corporations, no supply chains to disrupt. Just farmers, water, and a plant that doubled every 2 days. And then, the world changed. If this plant is so efficient, so nutritious, so easy to grow, why have you never heard of it? Why is duckweed classified as a nuisance species in 37 U.S. states? Why is it illegal to cultivate in most of the developed world? The answer has nothing to do with safety and everything to do with money. The colonial period did not just redraw borders, it redrew diets. Traditional food systems were dismissed as backward. Indigenous knowledge was erased from official records. But the knowledge did not disappear. It survived in the margins, in Bangladesh, in Myanmar, in communities too poor to afford the modern alternatives, while the Western world built a $400 billion animal feed industry. Southeast Asian farmers kept growing free protein. They were called primitive. They were actually ahead. In 1985, NASA had a problem. For long-term space missions, they needed a food source that could grow in closed systems. Something efficient. Something renewable. Something that could feed astronauts for years. They tested thousands of plants. They selected duckweed. NASA did not discover this plant. They remembered it. They rediscovered what Mekong farmers knew 3,000 years before. The space agency confirmed what grandmothers had always known. The numbers are almost absurd. Duckweed produces 140 times more protein per acre than soybeans. It contains all essential amino acids, the building blocks your body cannot make. Rutgers University in 2009 confirmed the amino acid profile rivals meat. It grows in any climate. It requires no soil. It doubles every 48 hours. This is not an alternative protein source. This is the original protein source. In 2014, the University of Jena conducted human trials. The result? 93% digestibility, higher than most plant proteins. The World Bank called it the most efficient protein source on Earth. Not the most efficient plant protein, the most efficient protein. Period. Every major scientific body has validated what traditional farmers always knew. The question is not whether duckweed works. The question is why you were never told. You have heard the concern. If duckweed absorbs heavy metals, is it dangerous? Let me be clear. Duckweed only absorbs what is in the water. Grow it in contaminated water, it absorbs toxins. That is why it is used for water purification. Grow it in clean rainwater, it absorbs nothing harmful. For home growing, the protocol is simple. Use rainwater, well water, or filtered water. Keep containers away from runoff. Start with clean source culture. The fear is manufactured. The solution is control. You control the water. You control the safety. The global animal feed industry is worth $400 billion. $400 billion every year. Now imagine a plant that anyone can grow. A plant that requires no land, no fertilizer, no distribution network. A plant that doubles every 2 days. Do you think that industry wants you to know about duckweed? In 37 U.S. states, duckweed is classified as a nuisance species. The official reason? It spreads too fast. But cannabis spreads fast. Bamboo spreads fast. Neither is banned like duckweed. The real reason is economics. A plant that costs nothing threatens an industry that profits from scarcity. You cannot patent a pond. But here is what the regulations do not tell you. Duckweed in open waterways is restricted. Duckweed in closed containers? That is yours. A plastic tub in your backyard is not an open waterway. The loophole exists. The knowledge is returning, and once you know, you cannot unknow. Here's exactly what you need. A plastic container. $20 or less. Water. Rainwater or filtered. Starter culture. Available online, often free from local ponds. Sunlight. 4 to 6 hours daily. That is it. No special equipment. No ongoing costs. Within 2 weeks, you will have your first harvest. Within a month, more protein than you can eat. Add it to smoothies. Dry it for storage. Feed it to chickens for the most nutritious eggs you have ever tasted. The setup takes an afternoon. The harvest lasts forever. Once you understand the basics, the possibilities expand. Gray water systems that clean and feed simultaneously. Aquaponics that produce fish and protein together. Rooftop farms that turn urban waste into nutrition. In Bangladesh, families are feeding entire households from containers smaller than a bathtub. This is not future technology. This is ancient technology, rediscovered. The revolution will not be televised. It will be grown in backyards. The archive does not end here. It continues through you. A plastic container, a handful of green, 2 weeks. That is the distance between dependence and sovereignty. For 3,000 years, this knowledge fed families. For 100 years, it was nearly erased. Today, it returns. If you believe knowledge like this should not be lost, if you want to see what else the archive holds, you know what to do. The archive continues.